Paul Thompson from Tradition here, and a huge warm welcome to this week's tutorial. And today I'm going to be covering the technique of soloing and improvising using both the minor blues and the major blues together. Okay, I'm going to be providing you with a backing track to be able to practice along with. And I'm going to be using a straight 12-bar blues in the key of C major. Okay, and I'm going to be explaining as I go through the tutorial how and when you can combine both of these scales. It's quite an art in itself. I've covered in previous tutorials how to solo and improvise in both major and minor keys. So check those out. This is one where we're going to be combining both, and it's quite a tricky skill. So if you're relatively new to guitar, go through those tutorials first and develop your art of improvising, and then develop it through to be able to come onto this tutorial and learn how to use both together. Don't forget, if you are new to guitar, check out my beginners online guitar course. 26 lessons takes you from being a complete beginner through to a decent level. Like I said, 26 lessons, it works out less than £4 a lesson. So check that out. The website, it's all available to have a look at on the website. Your first lesson is absolutely free, so you can check it out before you sign up. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to be explaining in the tutorial, like I said, exactly when and where you can combine both of these major and minor keys. So hope you enjoy it. Let's get on with the tutorial. Okay, I'm going to start by giving you the scale positions for both the minor blues and the major blues. I'm going to play them in. I'm going to give you them in two positions. One rooted on the sixth string, and the other set rooted on the fifth string. Okay, the first one, the old faithful C minor blues. Okay, now sitting on top of that, we've got the major pentatonic shape as well. With the blues notes. Root notes in those scales are important to emphasise. Okay, now, but I'm also going to include, very useful to know if you're improvising in major keys, the relative minor, which gives you the major, the major key. So in C major, the relative minor is A. So we can use the A minor blues to give us the C major. Okay, I'll just demonstrate that. But it's important also to start and finish on your C note to give it the major sound. Again, I did a full tutorial on the major blues scales a few weeks back. So if you want a more in-depth tutorial on the major positions, then you can check that out. But needless to say, like I said, A minor can also give us C major if we start and finish on the C note. Okay, and the root notes in that position are C there, C there. Okay, so it's a great little combination, so we can mix between. Okay, so you can see physically how I can mix between the major, they are joined together. We just need to move positions from the major to the minor. Okay, and the next little position on the fifth string, C minor to begin with. And again, we have the relative minor for C major. Again, A minor gives us C major in that position. Now the root notes here, so I've got some C there on the fifth string. And the next root note is on the second string there, 13th fret. I'm not really going to go any higher than that in terms of root notes. I'm going to be anchoring my first finger to that root note there. And just to emphasise, it is important to recognise where your root notes are, because in a lot of blues improvisations, we need to sort of finish phrases on those root notes, and kind of a nice, sweet, safe spot to finish the phrases. In the C minor position, root note there, root note there, and there's a nice little important triangle of notes here. That's my minor shape there, look. My major shape has the same triangle, just a different root note position, which is there. Right, now, how and where we're going to use the major and the minor, and how we can change. Well, if we look at this, if we look at the C7 chord, a lot of notes within that. A lot of notes within that. I have notes in the minor pentatonic or the minor blues, but with one important exception. That little major third, that little major note there, which we have to give a little nod to when that chord's being played. So we can use a lot of the minor blues. But I always give a little nod to that major third there. When I started off the demo just then, started off with that little major shape, but I only tend to use in that major position. I only tend to use the top three strings in that shape. I don't like getting bogged down in the bass strings. Very awkward fingering. So I keep to the top 3 strings on there. And if I'm going to use the rest of the major blues, drop down into that relative minor, A minor shape. When we change to the F7, again, got some nice, again, the minor pentatonic works nice over that. Back to the C7. Now over the G7, I have to change tack a little bit, because I need to give a nod to that chord, hit a note within that chord. So I need to play a G over that. There's only one bar on the G on that G7, but I'm going to bend the 3rd string, because that gives me a G note when I bend that string. Back to the F7, then back to the C7. And again, when we turn around on the G7, we need to give a little nod to that chord once again. So I can play a G there on the bend, or on the 5th string there. Okay, moving up to the root with the scales rooted on the 5th string. Then again, like I said, I'm going to really sort of hang around that triangle of notes, that 3 note. That little triangle of 3 notes there gives us so much scope for playing string bends. I also like to get my little finger underneath there. Okay, nice top string bend there. Okay, little G. There's my G note there. Finishing on my G there. Like I said, we need to turn around on the G at the end of the sequence. Minor, this time my root notes there on the 3rd string. I can get a nice bend on the top string, up to the root again. Again, switching nicely and fluidly between the 2 positions, and this is the key when you're practicing with the backing track. See what works. So you could start off over the C7, or using the major, Switching when you get to the D7, the F7 there, to a C minor. Back to the major. Don't forget the bend over on the G7 chord there. But like I said, try mixing them up between the bars and see what works. The nature of improvising tends to mean that some things will work for you and some things won't. The root notes are quite key to hang around, but just see what works and what doesn't. Keep in the bits that you find sound great, and get rid of the bits that don't, and you'll soon find what works and what doesn't. And hopefully I've emphasised a little bit about how to play around those chords and when and where you can and can't use the different scales. Just linking this into the 4500 times that I covered a couple of weeks ago. The same thing applies in principle, but the key has changed in that song. So instead of being in C major, it's actually in B. So when you're working out your scales for that, we've got B minor and B major. So the same principle applies, but you've just got to transpose those scales into the different keys. On the fifth string, that's the B minor, and then the B major. And the last solo, which is the point I'm making, the last solo splits between those major, the B major and the B minor blues scale. So if you wanted to work on that last solo, again, it's very much improvised. You can use those scales to work your way through that. Well, that's it. Hope you get on okay. Give them a go and see how you get on. Okay, well, there we have it. I really hope you get on okay with that. And I do hold a great deal of importance on learning to improvise, because it does inevitably, it defines the type of player that you are and develops your own style in playing guitar. We're all different. We all have different ways of playing. So it's a really good way of learning your craft and learning your particular style of play. Any questions, fire them across. Any requests at all, please get them over to me. I'm happy to cover anything guitar. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel for free weekly tutorials. Follow us on all the social media channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And thanks for joining me once again. I look forward to seeing you next week.